Check 1, 2. And we're back. What's going on, everybody? UWN Underground World News Live. Making sure that we got some good audio. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Judge, Bella, Kev Bar, Jocelyn, Deanne. See Pixie out there. Money, Meat Puppet, Rick. Good to see everybody flipping the house. Christ is King. Thank you for the feedback. All right. Everything's going good. I want to thank everybody that shares the stream, as always. If you got anything you need to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. You can @ me in the chat. Try to get my attention if you got information or something to say. And always try to hit me up on X as well. Got a lot to cover here tonight. Thank you, Tacos, Kev Bar, anyone else out there that shares the stream. It's appreciated to the fullest. And anyone that supports the channel. It's all appreciated to the fullest. And much love, UK. I see my cats across the pond in the UK joining us as well. Mark and House. Much love, Lord McCormick, Daz, Crown Jewels, everybody over there. Much love, everybody. E. Fitz, Kathy. I hope you're all doing good. It's been better weather out there, so to speak, in my neck of the woods. Since the last hurricane is cleared out, we've got another one incoming. We're going to dive into that and talk plenty of that. Hopefully, if you guys are down there, anyone's down there, you're taking this serious and you're getting out of the way. More on that in just a minute. Start off here with some space weather. We have some incoming activity. We're getting pelted right now with energy from the sun that came in from some X flares a couple days ago. The sun let off with like an X7, and then it let off with an X9-1. And at this time of year, they say it does not take much to spark these big aurora shows. So for what it's worth, soak that up. You can see right here, this was in Maryland or in Cape Cod. You can see the auroras there. Some of you guys getting real lucky in terms of being able to see these. But we did have another X flare today, an X2 let loose. It come off the right limb of the sun. That means that it's geo-effective still, meaning that the way the magnetic pull is from the sun and Earth, a lot of the energy is whipped back and directed toward Earth versus the energies that are spit off this limb. Just the way that it works. We'll wait and we'll see what happens here in the coming days, but we are at the top of a solar cycle 25. So this was kind of to be expected. Again, I'd soak up the northern lights out there. Sometimes they last 5-10 minutes. Sometimes they last for hours. Just depends on the energies coming in and where you're at. In that comet, Atlas, this may have been the last shot of it before it dipped below the horizon, and it's going to pop back up in the evening. October 9th. Mark this on your calendars. October 9th in 2 days. This is going to be the day to watch for this thing during the day. I'm supposed to have clear skies here. Hopefully we can lock onto this. But the 9th, the 10th, the days after that, the sun's forward scattered light is going to light this thing up bright. It's already bright. So this could be a treat here in the coming days, and just something to watch. That's right. Glory to the Most High. And thank you, Gabriel, for that super chat. I appreciate that to the fullest. Much love. If you guys get any shots, let me know. We do have an incoming object tonight, closer than the moon. Actually, 2 of them. one earlier. That makes me wonder if this other one it just popped up. But we've got one that's 0.8 LD, rather small, and one that's 0.3 LD, about twice the size of the other. So any fireball events could be associated with those. Remember, we do have that mini moon that came into orbit, which is really just an asteroid. And they said that you couldn't even see it with a telescope. It's so small, which raised the question as to why would you call it a mini moon? Because there's so many things that get caught in our gravitational pull and around the planet and all this other stuff. But I don't know. Let's go to the quakes. Going to look here in the United States here real quick. Los Angeles, Southern California, they were reporting feeling this magnitude 4. There's been a series of earthquakes going on there. It's been igniting fears of the big one. They're saying that this struck 3 miles southeast of Ontario at 3:51 a.m. Residents of Los Angeles, Riverside, and Orange County felt the shaking. There was no damage or injuries, but it's like got people saying, there's another one, and another one. It's going to happen at some point, but a lot of places are due to go or to come unzipped. The Pacific Northwest here, one of them. Keep an eye on that from up here where you see this quake, the Queen Charlotte Sound, all the way down to the Juan de Fuca Plate, where it zigzags and comes in near Eureka, where it's swarming right now. Of course, we watch Southern California as well, and that could be connected into fault lines that run up here and the Salton Sea region as well, just right there. We've always got the New Madrid, which is quiet right now on the maps, but this one up here was near Yellowstone. It's a decent-sized quake, 4.1. These chambers that run underneath Yellowstone run in this direction, and they run deep. They fork off as they descend underground out this way. So, is it related? We'll have to watch it, wait and see. I don't know. I would expect to see more if it is, like magma on the move. That tends to be what happens. They're very shallow quakes. They pick up intensity and they start heading toward the cone or the top of the volcano. And I seen that happen years ago in Africa, and we witnessed an eruption after watching these quakes take off running all day. It was pretty crazy. Tim. Yes, Western NC needs a lot of prayers too. I'm going to get to that here in just a second. And unfortunately, another storm system. So here we go. Let's just dive in. And we know that everyone is still reeling down there. A lot of people repeatedly saying that there's the smell of death in the air, which is sad, heartbreaking, frustrating, pisses me off. Our government is nowhere to be found in terms of this, so it makes you wonder, where are they going to be after this one hits Florida? I think that's a valid question. So we've got this Hurricane Milton, which has intensified. Earlier this morning, if I would have told you that this thing was going to swell till 5, people would have been like, no way. There's just no way this is going to happen. We talked about the modification, the manipulation, and everything in terms of Helene and past storms. Harvey, we caught him cloud seeding right in front of it, even before it hit, so much so that we reported on it before it even hit. And when they flooded the place, we knew what was going on. But this thing intensified something crazy. a state of emergency has already been issued because of this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is now saying that it's a major hurricane, and thank you, Gabriel, for the coffee. Love you as well. He's saying that there's a state of emergency in 51 of the 67 counties in Florida. So large-scale evacuations are underway. We're going to look at that here in a second. I've got plenty of charts here. If you were following my Twitter, you would have seen, or X, you would have seen the information where this was changing rapidly. This is up. It's tied for third for the most powerful hurricane to come out of the Atlantic Basin ever. There's several there tied with it at third, and there's several tied at second. And then once you get up to like 190, it was like Hurricane Allen. It sits atop the top of the list by itself. What up, Spiro? Good to see you, my brother. I'm going to play a clip here real quick.
Florida National Guard, Florida State Guard, additional FDOT personnel, Florida Highway Patrol are all hands on deck for this debris removal mission in advance of Hurricane Milton. Over 800 guardsmen are currently deployed in impacted areas, and we are in process of mobilizing a total of 4,000 to be deployed throughout the state. National Guard's also deploying heavy equipment to assist with debris removal, including Army and Air Force horizontal construction units, tactical high water vehicles, dump trucks, and front-end loaders. Division of Emergency Management is coordinating with local EM directors to inform them of the debris waste and landfill sites that have been ordered to remain open 24/7 and are surging assets, of course, to supplement local debris removal coordination. Now, this is a 24/7 moment for this debris removal. You have a storm and then have one less than 2 weeks later, two majors back to back. That is not something that is easy. That creates a lot of challenges. And so what we have to do is just do it around the clock until it's no longer safe to do it. So that's what the state assets are doing. That is what the local assets need to be doing as well. This is not a 9 to 5 debris removal. You're not going to be able to get it done if you just do 9 to 5. So we need everybody doing 24/7. And we would also advise local governments to do what the state government is doing. If we have a dump truck at FDOT, and that dump truck's coming to pick up debris, the Helene debris in areas that are in the eye of the forecast for Milton. It doesn't matter if that was their normal task. We're marshaling that. So local governments, they have dump trucks, they have different things in different departments. Bring it all together.
And they backed up and they tore the gate off the Pinellas County landfill. They say, oh, it's right here. Watch this clip real quick. They pull in with their truck. They hook a chain to it because they wouldn't open it, or they couldn't get a hold of the management to open it, or whatever the reason was. Look at this. They're just like, the heck with it. I mean, the governor's ordering this, so they hook a chain to it and they just pry it right on open, bend it on back. Now it's permanently open. So this is what they've done. This way they can take debris there and drop it off, and they're going to need places to do this. Trust me. I've chased a couple different hurricanes down here, and instantly you've got palm trees, you've got parts of everything all over the highway, everywhere. It's a grand scale mess. I was down there. We chased Irma, I do believe, and it was ranked at number 3. It's tied up there at number 3 with the most powerful. But it was just pure destruction. It chewed up the coastline. They're saying that they expect anywhere from 12 to 18 foot. I've seen different calls and storm surge coming in around the Tampa area because of Milton. You guys don't want to mess around with this thing. I'm going to show you some oddities. First off, somebody had typed it in was this thing in a movie? And sure enough, this thing, Hurricane Milton, it was a hurricane that formed in the Gulf, and there was a movie about it. Okay, so you can see here, and I put out a video on this channel. It's the last video that I posted today. You can go watch it. It's got footage of Alexa. Matter of fact, I should probably just try to find it and pull it up here. Hold on a second. Where the heck it's at. Right here. Get it to load. There we go. Someone, thank you for the coffees. All right, and thank you for the information on that link. This was an oddity that took place. What you see here on the screen, for whatever reason, the NOAA flew this crazy pattern that you see here on the screen. Rather wild, had a lot of people asking, what is going on here? But with the weather manipulation, ionospheric heaters, which are very real, and check out Climate Viewer's website. Jim Lee runs that. He's got a lot of good information on all the stuff they've got set out all over the place. Ionospheric heaters and other stuff that are out there, weather related, to manipulate this. Now here you can see this is right before it hit a Category 5. It is now a Category 5. By the time I posted that video, it had already hit. And you can see right here, just this thing fires up right there. It just spins up so intense and tight right there. It's wild. It's wild how intense this thing fired up. Now, normal drops in pressure run about 1 millibar per hour. When you're talking a hurricane and it's on course doing its thing, millibar or so drop in pressure. When this thing ended up, it dropped like 10, and then they were like, oh crap, this thing dropped like 50 or something crazy millibars. You knew that this thing was going to do something wild. And here, I'm going to play this audio off this video so you can hear the Alexa part. And can someone explain to me how Alexa already knows what the storm's going to do? This is the crazy stuff with AI and everything that's going on. Listen to this.
Alexa, what kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
I want to remind you, this was before it ever even reached Cat 5.
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path.
Widespread damage across its path. And I started talking there, but it said in October of 2024. If you go back and you play the video, you can hear it say that when I start talking. But I wanted to point that out, some oddities. And how in the heck is Alexa predicting this thing to a T? I'm going to play some other clips here. This is a crazy one. This just shows you how intense this is. This weatherman loses it.
Incredible hurricane. It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific. Maximum sustained winds are 160 miles per hour, and it is just gaining strength in the Gulf of Mexico, where you can imagine the wind.
And you can see he choked up there. Thank you, Sheena, for the coffees. Appreciate it to the fullest. You can see this guy doing his job. I'm sure he's been doing this for years. Gets choked up when having to say it, this thing dropped 50 millibars within 10 hours, which apparently is huge. This is what fired it up and got it spinning like a top, like ripping the string off a top, and it's getting it going, spinning really tight in the center. That's what caused it to intensify to where it's at right now. Now, will it get up there to what they want to say is Category 6 territory, where you break the record for number one and you start heading toward 200? Well, they said that there was gusts of 200 off this thing. They're saying the models are now showing the possibility of it maintaining Category 5 strength as it makes landfall near Tampa Bay. So this is insane. Who knows, Kev? Category 5, maintaining it or close to it by the time it comes in. Okay? This one here says, it was already at 180, so it's only 10 mile an hour away from the strongest ever. Tied for third. And this is what's coming in behind the damage Helene just dropped. Like, I know, and I'm going to get to that. I'm getting the NC, I'm getting the updates and all that here in just a second. But Florida took a licking last time. And it kind of got overlooked because of the magnitude of the damage done so far inland that they're still reeling from. But it's coming in again here, like the 1-2 punch. This isn't going to be a joke. This thing could maintain full-scale hurricane status all the way across. Okay? Now, what's nuts is this could well be a part of a bigger project that they were talking about here. Let me keep it pushing here. Phoenix. This is it. Pinellas County. Now, of course, the hurricane's not called Hurricane Phoenix, but this is just a project, and it is a hurricane simulation for Tampa Bay small businesses in emergency management. Okay, and this says, what if a Cat 5 hurricane struck the Tampa Bay region? Well, here's that exact scenario. Imagine that. Imagine that. What is up with all these, Event 201s? And I've got another one connected to the bird flu here later. It don't stop. So this is Project Phoenix, and it's directed toward this. Now, Tampa is a city that Mr. Bill Gates and his minions are trying to turn into one of them 15-minute green cities and everything else. Trying to get their hands on it. So if you wipe it out, then you can go in and you can rebuild however you want, you see. See how that's done? And I bet you there's more to dig up on this. A shout outs to Monty that tagged me earlier on a link on that, on Project Phoenix. Again, the same old criminals got their hand in the pot. There's some kind of advantage for them in all these crises. Oftentimes, we find these meetings or events that go down, or projects that are launched in association with stuff that's pre-planned. So here we go. Just throwing it out there again. Good catch on that one. So this Milton is supercharged to what they're calling a Mega Cat 5, potentially rivaling a pre-Civil War hurricane. The echoes of history have things repeat. If they don't repeat, they rhyme. You're going to see here I-275. Or did they even load it? Well, let me show you this one first. Tampa International Airport suspending all operations. So this is going to be for early tomorrow morning. Man, if you can get any flight out of there by tomorrow morning, it's going to be getting stuck in traffic. I just heard reports a couple minutes ago that the gas stations are running out of gas along 75. The people trying to get out of there. It is back-to-back, bumper-to-bumper, LA-type traffic. Trying to get out of there. Gridlock, all northbound. And it was like that when we went down. But if you're trying to fly out of here last minute and that's your game plan, man, you better be on top of it. I would say being in the lowest levels, deep inside of an airport, would be kind of safe, of a safer place to be. But I don't know. The backside winds on this thing are something else. All right, let's see if it pull up. All right, here we go. Look at this. Look at these images, man. Blow these up here on the screen. You can see already I-275, SR-60, I-4. If you have not paid attention, if you're in Florida about to head out, this is west and central Florida right now, backed up as far as the eye can see. Okay? The live cams, showing the same stuff. It's kind of blurry. All the vehicles backed up big time. The other side, you could see right there, same thing. 40 miles north of Tampa. All right, it didn't give me an updated speed up here. I was trying to get an updated speed. If anybody, give you a little task chat, anybody in the chat can find the exact speed right now, the most updated. Are we 180 still? Are we at 185, 183? All that makes a difference at this point is just a handful of miles per hour changes this hurricane. We hit 190. You're talking about the meanest thing we've ever seen. Tied for the meanest ever. That's something to pay attention to, man. So, yeah, if you guys could, anybody out there, if you could just check in a couple places. I follow a couple meteorologists like James Spann on Twitter. Be somebody good to check out. 180 right now, 180. Good looking out, chat. 180 30 minutes ago. That's what I'm talking about. Quick feedback. I appreciate that. If you see anything change, please get my attention and let me know that the things changed during the stream. It's going to maintain this all night into tomorrow morning. We don't know if this thing could continue. It's one to watch. I'm going to be watching it like a hawk. 184 mile per hour sustained, Joey D says. Could you let us know where you're getting that information from? Because you seem to have the highest there. Maybe the most up-to-date. Right there. Yes. Up to 200 mile an hour speeds. Got 180s, 185. Somebody just said. Well, this is what you got to understand. This is breaking records, if that's the case, when you get into this territory. So, yes, prayers going out to everyone out there involved. Thank you again, Sheena, for those coffees. You heard it was 187. Well, I'm going to, actually, let me get through the updates to this next one. Once I get some of these links shut down, I'm going to fire back up my Twitter feed, and then I'll check some of my places to see if I can get some updates. Quantum, checking in with 10 coffees. Much love and respect to you and the 228, everyone else out there. So, if you haven't heard, FEMA completely abandons everybody in NC. Nobody's been bringing in supplies except for the civilians. Agencies refusing to drive around the road closed sign because they're saying it's too dangerous, while the people are just diving on in, doing whatever they got to do to help save other people, which is where it's at, man. Scroll here a little bit. Look at this devastation, man. Coming out of Kentucky. Much love. Right back, thank you for the coffee. Much love to the underground. Prayers going out to everybody out there, not just NC, but I got to tell you, I have a lot of people hit me up. There's devastation in South Carolina. There's devastation in Tennessee. I think it was it Irwin or something like that. Just like this, wiped off the map. So it's many different areas. A lot of these small towns are getting overlooked because a lot of attention is going towards, say, like Asheville. And rightfully so, Chimney Rock and all that wiped out. But so many other towns, just smaller towns, that only had a handful of people that existed in them, are gone. Meaning the town just is gone. Just nothing but debris. It's so crazy. But FEMA dropping the ball. And I tweeted out an image earlier, and it was Kamala and her holding up something, and her belt that she has on is a Hermes, the fallen ones, Hermes belt. And it was worth more. It was like $770 belt. So her belt was worth more than what she was willing to give each family out there. Now, we've got a ton of people saying that they're applying for the FEMA stuff. And the FEMA people are quick to tell you and to remind anyone that every dime that they give you is a loan. That's what they're telling everybody. It's a loan. I mean, you got to pay it back. It's not a grant, which is crazy. I've heard many people saying this. I've also heard many people saying and seeing this stuff on video, seeing that they applied and were immediately rejected. Immediately rejected. And they're like, how? Like, we've lost absolutely everything. Like, what does it take? Get in to be accepted. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a good question. What does it take when people that lost absolutely everything are just getting rejected almost instantly? And see, that was the thing. They say here's $700 and some check. Even people are getting that denied. What gives? Much love, Hoodie Rouse. I got to give a shout outs to all the people out there that are running missions. We know that they were stopping helicopter pilots, even former police chiefs, and other veterans from making these flights and threatening them with jail. Well, if they couldn't land there, they were finding other places to land and get into. And again, a lot of these other areas that are getting overlooked, they didn't have so much attention on them, so to speak. They were and have been able to drop down into, fortunately, and get supplies into those areas. But there's so many of them. And with these NOTAMs, these no-fly zone restrictions put into place, a lot of these guys are breaking the law and going out here and going into some of these areas. But it's ridiculous. I seen footage where a guy was saying, look at this. He showed the runway. Our government parked 10 helicopters on the runway to stop private planes from being able to go and deliver goods all around the area, to drop in to certain places in these little bush planes and make deliveries, which they're perfect for. Our government is like that freaking butthurt over this whole thing. Now, talk about crazy video footage, right? I posted on my Surviving End Times channel footage of a helicopter that comes swooping in on Burnsville. This is in North Carolina, and it was a staging area. You blow it up right here. Put it on the screen. And this helicopter that you see right here swooped in right above them. And they were all like, no, you can't land here. You can't land here. Waving it off. Mute this. And the helicopter did like a pissy maneuver. And it turned around, it spun around them several times. And then dropped down real low and did what they call a rotor wash. Performed a rotor wash. And started kicking up all the items, like destroying the area. You could see debris flying all over the place. So at first, we didn't know what this was. If it was, well, we knew it was a military style. And yeah, Black Hawk, it looked like blacked out. But we didn't know who was doing this. We didn't know if these were private contractors. We didn't know if this was our military. You can see it there, tracking in, flying right in over top of them, all blacked out, and they caught a zoom in of the guys up in the aircraft. Now, we have found out that this tracks back to the military. See how he's sitting up there, right above? He drops down in right here and then does the rotor wash, which they said was deliberate. There's no reason for him to come down that low. And they weren't communicating with no one. Right before this happened, 2 all-black SUVs came into the lot, scoped everything out, and chirped out of there. They called the cops. The cops came and said that no, those black SUVs were no known law enforcement. Here you can see, look, tents flying, stuff flying everywhere. They circled and whipped up this wind and did this, and then got out of there. And they're like, dude, like, why? So who were they? And why was the big question. Okay, so go back here. Let's see if that was a post that I put out. They tracked it down and said that it belongs to the military. It belongs to the military. All the flight data and all that. I'm gonna exit this out. So why the military was doing this, we don't know. But it was registered to them. Steve's in the house. Tooge in the house. 100% intentional. You got that right. You're right. They should get disciplined for such an event. You would think, right? I mean, it's just unprofessional as it gets in putting people's lives at risk. So many of these towns, man, are covered in mud. These little towns have got to dig out. Just like this. Everything caked in mud. If there's anything to save, they're shoveling out. Again, these choppers making these runs and deliveries, man, thankfully. There's a massive water shortage, and there's going to be, okay? They need potable, portable water, okay? But they need them for different things. I mean, everything you can think of. Just to be able to flush their toilets, they need some water. No one could take a shower. No one could do laundry. Everything's destroyed, all the infrastructure. They have absolutely nothing in these areas. What's nuts is this done so much damage, catastrophic damage, that, like, this is beyond normal hurricane damage. Like, hurricanes normally come in, take out power, knock down some buildings or some houses, flatten some trees, yeah. But they don't cause landslides, especially in Florida, and huge rivers of water like we've seen coming off the mountains, because Florida doesn't have any mountains. It's just a different animal. And the water is so strong. We've seen massive steel beams you'd make bridges out of bent and warped from the power of water. And it's just a different animal. So it gutted the streets. And when it guts the streets, it rips out water lines. It rips out every single thing you could think of. Telling you that the destruction is just at a different level, man. Prayers going out to all these people. You can see here, no public showers, no water. They need it bad. Look at these vehicles stacked up. This is what it looks like down there all over the place. Daisy May. MASH, thank you. Prayers going out to everyone helping. And guys like this, Pastor Michael Woods at Rescue Ministries, they got these goods and that are helping to get them distributed down there. It's people like that you want to find. You don't want to be making any drops to FEMA at all. Prayers. Reminds me like Wizard of Oz. Something smashed the houses. A salutes to the boys that actually are out there getting something done, that finally get to go out and do it, because I know a lot of them were getting ticked off. Some of the guardsmen and others that were tweeting out that they were being just held in position, and they weren't able to get out and do what they want to do, what they were born to do, to get out there and help people. It was the same frustration all the people had. How's FEMA going to sit there and try and turn people back that are trying to help? Now look, let me show you the stats again. The strongest hurricanes in Atlantic history. In this, Helena, the damage it just did, it's not even up here. It's not even on this. We are facing one that's in the top 3 right this second, if not the top 2. If this thing officially hits 185, again, seeing it on the Weather Channel or anything, if this thing is officially 185, it is tied second place. But look, Mitch, Rita, Irma, and now Milton at 180. Like I said, I know what Irma did. So you better watch out. Anybody in Florida that was down there, you should know what Irma would do. It was 2017. It was fairly recent. At number 2, you had hurricanes. You had the Labor Day hurricane, 1935. You had Gilbert. You had Dorian, which was in 2019, which also was fairly recent. Then you had Wilma, all at 185, and you have Allen sitting all by itself at 190 mile an hour. Happened in 1980. 44 years since then. Will we see a record? Well, there's a lot of telegraphing with this one, isn't there? Back down to NC. I want you to hear from people and everyone. Oh, yeah, I've even got the clip. Here we go. We'll blow these up. I got several clips here that you should see. This is proof, flat out proof, FEMA is stopping help, which is disgusting. It's treasonous. It should be, I mean, these people should be arrested for what they're doing. By the people. They're like, people need to grow a pair and get out there and start doing the thing. When you see treason, like, people should be getting taken down and put in court for these things. Putting people's lives at risk is what they're doing. I've seen people trying to go in and deputize other people. Well, deputize the whole damn town. Let them go and get the corruption. I'm going to show you what they're doing right here. Let this guy tell you. This is just one instance. I just showed you Burnsville, the chopper swooping down, trying to stop that spot. Here's a different spot in what they're trying to do.
What's happening? We're at the airport again. Well, we're at the airport today. Yesterday, they ran like 30-something planes, a bunch of trips up to Western North Carolina, Asheville, that whole area, wherever they can land and drop off supplies. And FEMA has flown in like 10 or more helicopters and blocked a runway here at Greenville downtown. Completely took over, or almost took over the operation, just because they're doing some good here. FEMA's going to come here and try to stop it. And they took over one of the hangars over here too. We'll show you as much as we can. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, here's the helicopters that are blocking one of the runways here at Greenville downtown.
Crazy.
All flown in by FEMA helicopter pilots. And they're just sitting there doing nothing. And you have Greenville Aviation over here taking in all kind of supplies, everything that people want to drop off. There's a huge operation going on over here. Yesterday we ran about 30-something planes, or they did, I didn't fly anything, but just putting stuff in planes, taking it up to Asheville and other areas, and they came in and halted. FEMA came in and halted all that operation. And there they are, just sitting over there, doing nothing. When there's thousands of pounds of supplies over there that could be taken, they're just sitting there doing nothing.
Just sitting there doing nothing. Did you see this? This is an atrocity. This should be played in a court of law, and they should all go to jail for treason in their participation in it. There's a fine line in the sand when you know what is the right thing and the wrong thing to do. And when people are dying and needing rescued, and you're sitting there picnicking, and you park 10 choppers on the runway to strategically stop good men and women from saving lives, shame on you. This is the evil of evils. Right here, you're witnessing it. We are under attack in this country. I say it all the time. Maybe it takes this devastation for some of you to wake up and see it. This is more than a political back and forth that maybe you didn't want to get involved in. We are getting attacked. We, the people. You understand? Engineering, manipulation, modification. This isn't the beginning. It's been going on for a long time. It's just becoming more noticeable, I think, at this point. And hopefully people are waking up to it and seeing that we are under attack. These things can be steered, they can be fueled, they can be fired up, just like we saw many times in the one we're dealing with now. And I believe this is all part of wrecking the United States and bringing it down to its knees. I do, unfortunately. A bunch of natural disasters obviously has to be in the works, part of it, to hit us economically. And look, what did they already say? Mayorkas, he himself came out and said that they were running out and didn't have the funds for the rest of the hurricane season. He said it himself. They wanted to come out in damage control mode and try to fact check it and say, oh, that's not the case. We've got the money. It's not going here. It's not going there. It's like, no. Mayorkas said it himself on video. There ain't nothing else about it. Mayorkas said it himself. Okay, so listen to this right here.
So the more I'm looking into this whole situation, the worse it's getting. We really need to talk about what's happening in North Carolina specifically. I don't know if this is happening in other areas. I've only heard about North Carolina. My mom's not too far away from what happened. She lost power for about 4 days, but everything is fine. Their roads were fine. But there are areas where that's not the case. Right now, in particular, Chimney Rock has been told that their entire town is federal property now. They can't even go back to their homes. There are bodies that are laying in the water. There are bodies that are laying under trees and in the debris, and they can't get to their family members. The federal government has said that land and all of those bodies are now federal property. The federal government is not wanting to identify any of the bodies. They're just wanting to bulldoze over it and not even count how many people this natural disaster, if you want to call it that, has caused. Furthermore, people who are trapped and who are getting shipments of supplies. There was a pastor that was going door to door handing out water, and the request changed from water to body bags. They need body bags, and the feds aren't picking up the bodies. They're literally leaving them to rot. So just imagine for a second, you have lost everything, literally everything. You have no food, you have no water, and your family member who perished is literally rotting beside you. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing that the federal government is doing about it. You can't even get a body bag to put your family member in so that the stench stops spreading. Like, how is this America? How is this America? There are people who have been without food and water for 6 days. The 82nd National Guard has been begging to go in and help these people, and the federal government has told them to stand down. Something evil is going on in the mountains, and we really need to talk about it. We need to put pressure on Washington to get our people the help that they need before it's too late. For some people, it already is too late. Please share this message. Please share any sort of resources that you can in the comments below. I'll be page, which has almost 2,000 followers.
Okay, it is criminal. You got that right. Deep breath, man. These eyes start to get... Listen, I know how they feel. We got wrecked by the same weather manipulation and flooding off the mountains in these little towns. We got wrecked here in Kentucky 2 years ago, but nobody cared. Little old Kentucky. It just how it seemed and how it felt. We didn't have international help coming to the rescue. Hardly. It seemed like at all. Like nobody cared. And just like she's saying, people that were lost in the waterways, it was the same thing here. Bodies never were recovered. So I feel the pain. The fact that they're requesting body bags. It's just, it leaves me speechless, man. And thank you, Uncommon, and thank you, Colleen, for the coffees. I think I got another one here. I got a cop. It tells you how it is. Let's listen to what he's got to say here. He makes it quick here within a minute, but it's worth listening to because he tells you the same thing I've been telling you. Get it into the hands of someone righteous, like this guy, or someone else that you know down there on the ground.
By now, everyone's heard about what's going on in the western part of Carolina, eastern Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. Donate. Please donate what you can. Try to find a nonprofit to donate to, a church, local PD. A lot of those are taking donations, sheriff's departments. I know my department is running a bunch of stuff to the western part of the state to help. Donate. But please do not donate to FEMA. They are hindering a lot of what people are trying to accomplish out in the western part of the state. FEMA doesn't understand that these Appalachian people are built differently. I am very familiar with them. They are not going to stand by idly and have government officials tell them what to do. FEMA's playing a game of FAFO because free men don't ask for permission. Again, please donate and help these people out. They need us now more than ever.
So those were some important video clips that I thought you guys should see. And everything here at the top of the hour, streaming good on my end. No OBS glitches or anything here. So hopefully everything is good out there. Much love. Thank you, tacos. There's concerns raised here, and rightfully so, about the floodwaters after this Helene. The same thing to be said in the Tampa Bay area and for this one that's incoming. The floodwaters are going to be something you're going to want to watch. They're saying the E. coli from overflowing sewage is going to be rampant all over the place. Lori, thank you. And thank you for the belated birthday wishes. I appreciate that to the fullest. Thank you for that. You got to watch this. And in Florida, man, I showed on a couple of streams ago someone walking out of their house right after the hurricane went by. The floodwaters up still. What was waiting at the bottom of the steps? An alligator. I said, Cher, thank you for that. I appreciate that to the fullest. And yeah, if for those that may need to refresh, you notice on YouTube all the time when I'm live and I get to this range that it can't never maintain on a normal stream for me ever. It knocks off like 200 people at a time. It's not like 5 or 10 or a couple come in and a couple go. It's not normal. It's just not. Like hundreds will just drop off. It's I don't know. It's the way it's always been over here. They try to keep a little of me and censor the crap out of me. So I don't know. At least my OBS ain't glitching. Everything seems to be running smooth on my end. Gonna keep this pushing here. Again, top of the hour. Much love. Want to thank everyone that shares the stream. Dabu7@yahoo.com. If you got anything you want to get to me, or tag me there in the chat. Trying to keep an eye on that. And get through these. So that guy was just talking about the choppers. That was Greensville. The Black Hawk came down over Burnsville. So these are multiple places that we can see that the feds are playing games, man. You know, so man. All right. So look, again, prayers going out to everyone out there. I'm going to continually update on this, as I always do. We got an incoming hurricane. So tomorrow morning and throughout the day, I'll be tracking this thing. I'll be tracking it all the way in and all the way through. So make sure you're subbed up and checking my channel every day, because by the afternoon I'm dropping videos every day, going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, covering all of it. Much love, Steve. With all the chaos going down, this is a good time to remind folks that you might want to have like some kind of backup plan. Like I said before, I could never live full-time in Florida for this reason. Because you got to go running out of there. But where you running to? Where you running to? A hotel? Where? Are they going to be booked all over the place? You're going to have to go into the next state? Like, that's a frantic, chaotic way to live. And they have to do it all the time or back to back, like every year. Like, it's just, it's crazy to me. Just seems like, I mean, I love Florida, don't get me wrong. It just seems like somewhere I'd have to have a cheaper, like, secondary home, you know, down there. Again, if it got destroyed, it wouldn't be too much of a loss. Something like that. Whatever it is, you're going to need power. And when the grid goes down, you better be ready. We've dropped songs on it. And when I say that, I really mean that. Like, you should have a solar backup, a wind backup, something. And I personally don't have wind. I think it does its job in the right play application. But the maintenance on them and upkeep is a whole nother animal. High wind storms can topple them and make them deadly. But it's an option. And T-Don, thank you for that. I appreciate that to the fullest. Solar, I said it before, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it's the way to go. If you want to break away from the system, if you want something, if you're wondering, what would it take to power my whole house? I'm going to tell you, about $25,000, you get you a whole system and power a majority of the stuff to keep your house the way that you like, most people like to live. Give or take a little bit here and there, and depending on what you want, different setups, it's achievable. And I don't know, man, where we're going, I just don't see how you can't look at this and take it serious. with them knocking us off grid all the time, storms coming in all the time, I'd have to have a place. I mean, the mountains even safe anymore? I mean, they're attacking everywhere. But yeah, still deeper up into the United States is definitely going to be safer than front line, I feel. But again, it's all about the situation. We've seen the mountains, man, showing us that things can get crazy. I'm going to keep pushing here. Dozens of meat processing plants expected to shut down under the new EPA rules. So, man, add this to the list. If you thought things were bad, in this department, I mean, it's just going to get even worse. If you mix in a bird flu thing, which could happen at any time, and I've got an article on that here in just a minute as well, this could go crazy. So dozens of meat processing plants expected to shut down, meaning there's going to be less out there. It's going to be higher priced. It's the way it's going when it raises cattle, has cattle. And even if you do, look what I just said. Dozens of meat processing places are shutting down because of EPA rules. So these old places you'd be able to go down these country roads or wherever, they're going to try and crack down on everyone. Saying you got to take it here, you got to do this, got to have it inspected, blah, blah, blah. No. And you go down these old country roads, you'll find signs that say, whatever, meats down this road, whatever. And if they don't think you're a Fed, you got cash money, it's king, it talks. Don't have some cash, get your meat processed, you're on your way. And a lot of the people out here, they keep it straight up. I mean, it's always good to know and do some research on any processor, because you don't want to have a processor that you take your cattle to and they give you different meat or anything like that. You want back what you took in. You know what I'm saying? Something to always be mindful of if you're getting into getting cattle butchered or deer or anything like that. Look up. Thank you. I appreciate you. Man, if I had it my way, if this place don't go to crap, come spring, I'd love to have another big get-together. Jacob in the house. I'd love to have another knowledge conference or whatever. I mean, just linking up with good people is priceless. Being able just to get together with a room full of good people and to talk, it's priceless. And I fiend for it shortly after every event for a long time, because it's what I'm here for. I mean, weed through all the demons to find, the very few that are out here fighting the righteous fight. And that's the team, those fighting the good fight, So I'd love to meet as many of you as possible before it's all said and done, right? Crown Jewels, you better be ready. You know that, brother. So, again, have a plan for the meat, what you're going to eat, and all that. Remember, Bill Gates and company coming down that avenue, too, buying up all the farmland, trying to push their Beyond Meats all over the place. But luckily, people are rejecting it. And that goes a long way. People just accepting things can put us in a bad position, but rejecting things goes a long way. So people not liking the fake meat, people not liking the EVs, fine with me. Okay, and as these issues come about with the meat disappearing or getting high priced and all that, they're saying that children's diets are now over 70% ultra processed foods. And this is not good. We were talking about the Dollar Generals all over the place and how diabetes skyrockets around those areas and those regions. This is going to add right to that. So you wonder why there's so many issues, man. You got to get back to growing heirloom, and eating what you grow. Let thy food be thy medicine is the best way to put it. You're definitely not going to get it out of these ultra-processed, sugary foods. The sugars to fuel the cancer and all the bad things. You cut all that out and replace it with the natural stuff. Like I said, let that food be the medicine. Well, you'll be amazed at the difference, I'm telling you, just by switching up the diet. All right, let's look at the economy in the surrounding areas around us. The Home Depot cutting back because this place is going down. All these places know it. And it's either they cut back and find a way to scramble and try to save what's going on here, or they end up going bankrupt, like we've watched pretty much every other business do. Now, they've hung in there this whole time. I'm going to tell you primarily because of a surge in people trying to get out there and finish projects and to build homes and to get off grid to do these things. That's what money is being spent there. But, people are getting tapped out, no doubt about it. And they're seeing it. Anytime I go into Home Depot, Lowe's, they're never dead. Let me just tell you that. They always seem to be pretty busy. And I'm telling you, it's because people are getting it in. It's a different time than lockdowns, when we were locked down in, 6 feet, and masks, and all this other crap. So people are doing all types of things right now, and hey, pedal to the metal. All the way until the event pops off. Wanted to show the most projected growth here in terms of jobs. Home, health, and professional care jobs look to be at the top of the list here. But they don't pay the best. They're going to be the most in demand because you're not going to want a robot AI to come to your house or wherever to check up on you, to help you, and to, do all these things. It's only showing 33,000 is the average wage for that. Behind it is software developers, and you're talking making an income of $130,000, which is a huge leap right there. So it just goes to show that software development and things like that, coding, anything to do with that is going to maintain paying good going into the future. And of course, you've always known and always heard computers, what you want to know, it's the way of the future. It's going to maintain that. It's going to continue to be. General operating managers, crack 100,000 there. Registered nurses, 80-some thousand. And then medical health service managers, over 100. Financial managers, 150. But there's less and less of those needed. That's the issue, like all the people that go into college and get these degrees to come out and they can't get a job because there's so few openings in these areas. Nurse practitioners, you've got down here, versus registered nurses, is a big difference there. But the nurse practitioners making more money, but needed a whole lot less. You see, so just saying. All right, in the financials, where's it at these days? Well, everyone's jumping out of the dollar and think you lunar. Always censorship. Gold is where it's at, and it's pretty crazy. Poland is admitting how much gold they have in their reserves. They apparently are saying they got more than the UK. But let me remind you, London, in the UK, is where all the gold is stored from around the world. If you want to play ball in the markets, you've got to send London all your gold. That's how it works. And they store it in their vaults, and then you can play ball. If you tick them off at any time, they keep it. Just ask Venezuela. Poland, though, stacking. All these countries just keep popping up, just admitting like, yep, we're more and more and more. More and more and more. Central banks loading up on gold. Just across the board. I mean, I've got multiple here that that show the central banks just in this chart alone through the roof. They're hoarding it. I mean, that's the word to use. They are literally hoarding the gold. Peter Schiff, he's the gold bug. I've been following him for some time, and I've been telling you, $3,000 is what to watch when it comes to gold. It breaks that, it's going to go bananas. It's going to hit discovery mode. And I'm not going to go through all this, but I'm going to hit on a couple of his key points here because they are valid and where we're going from here. The potential from here is much higher, he says, because we're going to print so much money. Thank you, Luna. He basically says here that we're going to have to print so much money because of inflation. And he's right, that our money's going to lose so much value that if gold can go from $20 an ounce to $2,600 an ounce, then it can go from $2,600 to $26,000 or even to $100,000. He says there's no limit because, again, gold isn't changing. It's the value of the dollar that is decreasing. And he's right. That is the fundamental about it. That is the fundamental. The dollar is going to continue to just deteriorate and rip away. That alone is going to drive gold. Not to mention every single central bank around the globe is hoarding it. Like, get out of here. Like, this is going to go bananas. And I told you, silver. Silver is what you should be buying up and buying up and buying up. And what does this say? Will Russia, in their buying spree, drive silver past 50? It might. It just might. Something's got to do it. See, gold's breaking records. Silver hasn't yet. Not until it breaks $49.50. Not until it breaks that $50 benchmark. Then it too will be in discovery mode. And dude, silver could do something crazy. It could jump up and double. It could run to like 100. Do something stupid. It's got a lot of catching up to do because gold has been surging and surging and surging. That's how it all works. In terms of how they run. Gold always runs hard. And then as soon as it finds a little bit of a footing or a top, it can settle, just like Bitcoin. Ethereum runs, or silver runs, you see, to play catch up. In the crypto world, all the alts run with it. And that's what they call alt season. Okay? But all that is digital nothings compared to gold and silver, which are the real money. Again, if you can find any pre-1965 silver coinage out there, get it by the bag and hold it. I'd hold all the silver you can because that's really going to be the top bartering mechanism from here. It just is going to be. Silver's going to be. I'm just going to say it now. You can have gold. Gold's good. Gold, though. Gold is used for what? A store of value. So when you've got a ton of silver sitting there, and you're like, all right, I've got too much here. I need another way to hold my value. Gold comes into play. Then you could cash out the silver, buy it in gold. It's going to take up less space, but it'd be worth, just as much in gaining. Luna, thank you, man. I appreciate all the support out there from everybody, man. It's all appreciated. Thank you. So, how does Russia go about doing things? Well, they forecast what they're doing, and a lot of other places do this as well. So this gives them kind of an idea of where this whole thing's going to take off and go to. And Russia plans to allocate $51 billion. That's like 530 million, like over $500 million in U.S. dollars, to precious metals and gemstones in 2025 alone. And they plan to allocate the same amount for the years 2026 and 2027. So at least $500 million constantly every year being thrown at these. That is a lot. That is a huge driver, man. These are things to pay attention to, I'm telling you, man. I come on here all the time, and I repeatedly say, every show, after you know it, just go back and look at the history. It's proof in the pudding. Every show, it's gold. And where it's going every single time, there's an article on it. Record-breaking. It just don't stop. Only thing I haven't said is record-breaking yet is silver. So a smart man would say, let's get in. Jump on the ship. Come on, join me for the ride. Come on, let's go. Come on. If you missed me saying back in 2017, you better stack up on gold and silver. Well, gold might have lifted off, but silver still hasn't made it past the 30 wall. So it's still time, man. I'm telling you, all aboard. All aboard. All right. If you stacked heavy in 2017 and you're coming up, or just made some moves out there and you got the money, and you're looking to get you a last-minute bunker, they have got a silo, a former ICBM silo, this is in Kansas, dubbed the zombie-proof underground fortress. And they put these names on these things just to get them to sell. But it's now less than $1 million. It's listed for $749,000. It says it's nestled within a 23-acre secluded lot of land, which is garbage. Because that's not secluded. I can see mountains that are like 50 miles away in the background, which means they can see you. This is Kansas, y'all. This is flat. You get picked off by an Apache. Well, you're going to be underground, right? But still, they can see everything. There's like nothing to hide behind. There's no trees. There's no nothing. You're open game, man. Have you ever watched any of these military films and footage or anything in Iraq and Ukraine, any of it? If you're out in the open at Apache, you can't even see it or hear it. It can see you from like freaking 50 miles away and just mow you down. You won't even know what hit you. That is reality, dude. Not only can Apaches and all that do that, but the drones these days, the way that... I don't know. You wouldn't catch me out. My survival spot would not be in a radiated former missile silo. I'd spend the money, I'd dig out something myself, do something else different. If I was going to spend anywhere near that amount of money. Gary in the house, man. Much love, Panther, my brother. Good to see you. Hope all is well. We got a check in here from East Palestine, and it ain't good. Of course, I told you they cut him a check for like $600 million. Hush money. That's not going to stop the mutant frogs and everything else that's coming out of this river. So he goes down here, and he's like, look, they throw a bone to Palestine, of course. The rest of the place is falling apart, sending all this money abroad. But let's take a look at what's going on in East Palestine. So they throw some rocks in here, and the locals are like, yeah, look what happens. You throw a rock in here, the chemicals that have settled on the bottom surface. And you can see it, and it's just disgusting.
I'm here with Chris Albright. We're in East Palestine. I am shocked. We just came down by the creek that runs out where all of this disaster happened. The community is being told they need to settle, that there's nothing left here, there's nothing to see here, that it's safe. And this is shocking to me. I thought for sure there's no way, it's almost been 2 years, there's no way that this stuff in this creek would still be ballooning out after they spent months and months and months aerating all of this. And I just started agitating the ground here, and sure enough, the rainbow's still coming out. You can smell it, you can taste it. My sinuses have been plugged for the last hour since I've been here. I'm getting a sore throat. It is a lie. What the government, what the EPA is saying is a lie. What Norfolk Southern's saying is a lie. And even what these plaintiffs' attorneys are saying, this is criminal, what is happening to these people. Let me just turn this around so you guys can see this. Again, you shouldn't see anything. We just had to come up right in there. It was right down in there. We'll just keep doing this. There it is, right there. That is insane. There it is, all on the banks. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. When I'm hitting over here on the banks, over there, right there. You can see it all. It's just, it's bubbling up. Conditions.
So you guys see right there, it's just it's not been fixed, and it won't be. They just threw money at them because of the damages. They didn't fix nothing, because with these spills, it takes a lot, and they're just not willing to do it. So yeah, talk about big disaster. And Deanne, thank you for the coffees. And I send prayers for your son and for anyone in Florida right now that's in the path of this thing. Well, now, let's move on to some more interesting stuff here. Coincidence, maybe? Remember how we had Event 201 in October and everything that followed it with lockdowns? Well, we just had the Bird Flu Summit. The International Bird Flu Summit. In Washington, D.C. Okay? And just days after it, we're seeing and getting reports that new cases in humans have been reported in the United States. California, get ready. I mean, it's there. Just like what we've seen before. And we know that this is, we've seen the ladies on film say that this is what they've been gearing up for, is this, the bird flu. They're ready to go to all the farmers. Remember the videos I played? They're ready to inoculate all the farmers. That's exactly what she said. It's what she said when we're talking about this, that they've been studying this for years. And that this is different, way different than the cove crab. All right, let's keep it pushing here. So you know that if anything pops off with bird flu or anything like that, well, they had the meeting. Everything is going right as scheduled. So don't be surprised. So the FBI, warning of high terror threats. And I put out information here recently, several different videos, because I had it coming in different waves. And some of the warnings are still valid and open. They go all through this week and even into the next week, where electronics, the banking system, communications, cell phones, anything like that, internet, all could be attacked and could go down. You know, all also connected into the election and election systems, voting, early voting, all this stuff. But the FBI has been warning about a straight up terror attack, like some kind of big event to go down. Of course, today came and went. Nothing happened on October 7th. But I'm telling you, this warning is still lingering. Well, we're in a window up to election, and I'm telling you, man, we're in a crazy window of time. So, you guys know, North Carolina got hammered. Some towns are wiped off the map. Some people still suffering, and it's going to be ongoing, it seems, as another hurricane makes its way through. What does this do for the election? What is this going to do in Florida now for the election? When polling stations and other places are going to be wiped out, they're not going to exist no more. Same situation. This is going to affect the election and the outcome, I'm telling you, and they're admitting it right here. In the past, yes, hurricanes have hit around the same time, but nothing has unfolded quite like this, with back-to-backs this destructive. Okay? And again, Helene didn't have to be in the top 3 of the records of category, anything. It's all about timing in the situation, the path, and as we've seen, if you can take a category, whatever storm and all of its rain, and take it up into the mountains, deep into the United States and park it, you can cause massive issues. I'm also going to say this. There are 1 or 2 spaghetti models that show this thing curving up right to the coast of the Carolinas. I'm just saying. There's 1 or 2 spaghetti models showing Milton doing this. And I kept thinking to myself, well, what's stopping it from doing it anyway? Because I didn't see any boundary ahead of it to stop it, to bounce it off. And I've been questioning it the whole time. If this thing tracks up the coastline, just takes off up that way through Jacksonville and up the coastline, and takes that path, boy, oh boy, this isn't going to be good. Remember, this thing wasn't supposed to do what it did today. No one seen this thing intensifying into the monster it is right now. Category 5 coming across the ocean. Dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. Had the weatherman choking up, like freaking out. Stuff they've never seen. Stuff they've never seen. Dude, I wouldn't mess around with this one, guys, if you're down in Florida. This is about to pound my favorite area. From Siesta Key. I love Siesta Key, man. If you ever been there, Siesta Key's got these beautiful, puffy, soft white beaches. You can see the sunset from that side of Florida. This is different. This is different than from Fort Lauderdale and the other side. It's a different vibe, but relaxing and chill. The Keys wrap up that side, all the way up through there. If you didn't know, this is beautiful. And one of my favorite places down there to go to anyway. And it's about to get hammered. All that region. St. Pete Beach, the whole Tampa Bay region. Yeah, it's forming in the Gulf. Yeah, that's right. So this election, in the next 30 days, will we see another hurricane? Is my question here. Will we see a third, a fourth? I don't know, but just 1 is wreaked havoc. 2 is definitely it's gonna affect it, man. I don't see how it cannot. It's gonna delay some things maybe, which means just adds to the madness. So let's jump into some of the political stuff real quick. Pennsylvania, obviously just as critical as Florida and North Carolina when it comes to this election. They're saying 63 of 67 Pennsylvania counties have shifted to Republican since 2020. This is huge. Huge. It's a red wave, they're saying? I'd say so. I mean, everywhere you see Trump going, it's massive. Of course, he has this one, I believe, in the bag. Just go back up, trying to see a comment there, Kev. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. What's this next one? Oh, this is the Elon one. Elon dropping a serious warning at the Trump Butler rally. I thought he just looked like such a kid when he ran out there and threw his hands up in the air, like, yeah. Like, it's just like, man. Seen people talking about him and Trump being, like, I don't know, comparing him to the Baphomet and the Beast. Because Elon come out and said, yes, I'm MAGA, but I'm dark MAGA. I'm like, that didn't help anything. You saying that. It's kind of prove us all right.
The side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. Text people now, and then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my.
He keeps saying this. That's why I want to play this. He keeps saying that if you don't, this is going to be the last election. He has said it. The world's richest man has now said this like 5 times, that this is going to be the last election. He keeps saying it. If Trump is not elected. Now, they're coming for him too. You seen what they just did with the Telegram dude. They locked him up and were like, look, you're going to do this, this, or this. Or you're going to stay here, or we're going to come after you again. And he did. They let him out. And he changed his terms of service. He did all this stuff. Elon's seen that. Elon's seen that. All right? He knows that they caught McAfee, put him in prison, and they whacked him. All right? This is real. He's got targets on him, richest man or not. Some people hate him, envious, jealous, the whole nine. Want that top spot and want him gone. Just as bad as they want Trump gone. But, the world is a stage. Elon, who tried to say that they were effectively on the Democrat side buying votes. This is what they said before. Okay? This is what they switch all these things up. And it's like, oh, I got to call it because this is what we do. I got to call it for this because if you're going to say, oh, they're on the other side buying votes, then what is this? All right, this Elon Musk founded American PAC rolls out a bold program, earn $30 an hour with performance bonuses. $30 an hour with performance bonuses to boost voter registration, plus $47 for each referred swing state voter that you get signed up. So it's the same thing. It's using money as the tactic to drive the votes. Which, of course, you didn't think this guy was going to resort to this at some point before they used all the tricks in the bag. He's the world's richest man. So, the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. I can go back and grab all these tweets, all these public comments where he's made fun of and said negative things about Trump. And even Trump about Elon. But here they are. Tag team. Back again. Checking and wrecking. This begin. Yeah. There they go. The ultimate duo here in this end time scenario for this final election. I'm surprised he's not running as his vice. At this point, but I guess he didn't need to. He's like, no, they needed to groom or they needed to put the new face, J.D. Vance, up there. Is what they had to do this time. Because Trump's gone after this. He serves 4 years. He can never run again. So there has to be a new savior, you see. I don't know. We'll see how far Elon takes it in the political realm. All the Wisconsin sheriffs step up and proudly endorse Trump at his rally. Wanted to put that out there. So we've seen this. The police force and all them, they're on the side of Trump. Trump's he's got it, man. He's got the backing of the people. I'm the one that tells you all the time, it's a left-right paradigm, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also going to tell you that when you go out and you look at what your American people, your fellow Americans around you want, they want him. There's just no doubt about it. They're packing stadiums in just massive amounts. Out on Twitter of where they were just at, and it's just nuts. It's nuts. The magnitude of it. But guess what? Just like last times in these cycles, as soon as this election is over, it all fades away. Do you realize that? Do you realize where we're at? See, when Trump ran the first time and had all the strength, and he won and became our president, well, yeah, you've seen out there was all kinds of Trump stuff, but when he won, all that went away. There was no need to do it. There was no need for Trump parades and all this other crap to promote him. He won it. He was in. So it went away. It went until the next election that this stuff happens again. All right, keep this. Okay. I thought I had another one here. I was trying to find it. Okay. Good point, Kev Bar. Tetragrammaton in the house. Good to see you, man. This is a couple clips. I'm not going to play the one because I guess he's cussing. basically they start this whole interview off like Tucker Carlson's like, look, if they win, you're effed. You're screwed. And they both say it back and forth and they laugh about it, but it's like, okay, well, here, I'm going to play a couple clips.
I can talk without a teleprompter. That's crazy.
But if he loses, it's going to be hard for you to pretend you never supported him.
All in. In the deep end.
Yeah, no, you are definitely in the deep end. You cannot touch bottom.
No, I'm like rolling around. I'm like a pig in mud. I'm like, it's all in, baby.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
How hard?
I mean, there may be some, in the hopefully unlikely event that he loses, there may be some vengeance on me.
Were you kidding?
I don't.
I mean, there's so much laughing and all this stuff always going on. He's like, yeah, it's fun. Just look at him. Always jumping around like a kid. It's like, man, it's kind of hard to take any of this serious with him. But he says right here, this is what I want everyone to, because if this happens, it's messed up. If they take down X, if Kamala and them get in there, they're going after X, and they're probably going to go after him.
If she wins,
just like Trump,
how can they let X continue in its current form, in its current role in American society?
They won't. They will try to shut it down by any means possible.
What do you mean by any means possible?
I mean, with law, either by they'll try to pass laws. They'll try to prosecute the company, prosecute me. The amount of lawfare that we're seeing taking place is outrageous. There are many examples, but like the Department of Justice, for example, launched a huge lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers.
Come on.
Yeah,
asylum seekers?
Not asylum, those who've been granted asylum seekers. Now there's also a law called International Traffic and Arms Regulations that because SpaceX develops advanced missile technology that can be used in nuclear ICBMs, that we have to be very careful with who we hire. We can only hire someone if they're a permanent resident or a citizen. That's what the ITAR law says. Then there's another law that says that you cannot discriminate against asylum seekers. So we're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The DOJ did a massive lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers, even though it is illegal for us to hire asylum seekers under ITAR law. This is an actual thing that's going on. And they can only do a fairly small number of lawsuits every year. So why'd they pick this one?
Because you're Max.
Yeah, lawfare.
The way he speaks sometimes is almost like a robot too. I swear, dude. It's like, that's the guy that wants to put a Neuralink in your head. All right, well, let's keep it pushing. You guys know that pagers and walkie-talkies and all this other stuff were just blowing up all over the place. And that Israel, which is highly suspected of being involved, denied any involvement and said, no, it wasn't me. When everyone out there is saying that, yeah, it was Mossad. Well, Dubai's Emirates Airlines bans pagers and walkie-talkies for all flights. And this is crazy because we know they blew up more than that. They were blowing up household items, solar panel systems. And it's like, hold on a second. Like, that's large scale, widespread. That's more than just two different items, which means it's way bigger. Not just one shipment, one thing that came in. You're talking all kinds of different items coming in from all kinds of different places, manufactured by all kinds of different people. It's way more large scale. And if they're doing it, why are others not doing it? If they got a reason to believe that this can happen again and down a flight, then like this something that makes sense here. We know that they can hack these things. Like I said before, what happens when the Chinese decide to start blowing up iPhones? Everybody in America, like half people in America's like leg or head is going to be blown off. You know, they're going to be talking on the thing or have it in their pocket or something, and it's going to blow up just like it did on these people. Dude cruising down the road on a moped, and all of a sudden, boom, pager blows his hip off. You know, the same thing is going to happen. And you can't say it can't because they just proved to us they can. You can cause problems. As the OBS messes for the first time tonight. But, let me keep pushing here. Let's go to the war front in Israel. Hezbollah unleashes a massive strike on Haifa in Israel. So Israel is beginning to get pounded in different places. Okay? I foresee this escalating, the tit for tat, back and forth. I foresee this going back and forth. I think we're in that window, man. I think we're there. I think these are the days. When we're in it, we live it. It's definitely crazy to witness all this going down. And World War III definitely underway. It's just being done through proxy. Israel responding by saying that, well, they will respond in the manner of their choosing, at the time and place of their choosing, which means that they can go on at anything. They released some statement called Northern Arrows and said that they were going to open up a 7-front war. Count Gaza as 1, Lebanon is 2, and then they said expect this war to spill into Syria. Literally, and it already is, because they're bombing. They bombed the port in Syria where Russia's military stuff was. This is almost dragging Russia straight into the conflict there. Because Russia's allies with NATO and Syria, where they got to come to their defense just like NATO has allies. If you mess with a NATO ally, all of NATO's got to jump up and have their back. That's how it works. BRICS, China, Russia, Iran, they're all on the same team. And Iran's foot soldiers, basically the Houthis and all them down in Yemen that are sinking ships off the coastline left and right, they could shut down and close the Straits of Gibraltar at any time or any other spot, any of the critical choke point. They could go near the Caspian, several different places. The Red Sea choke point, that's the critical one. That's the main one right there, through that waterway. If they shut that down, nothing's getting through there. You're talking about war. War is not just about nukes all over the place. That's where people have been fooled. That's where they've had Hollywood paint this false perception in their mind. We are economically being decimated. There's wars popped off all over the place. And just because they don't see a nuclear mushroom cloud going off somewhere in their mind, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Well, dude, they can make it terrible hell here before people say, oh, we're finally there. Drop one nuke in Ukraine. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to wipe the Kremlin off the map. I just don't know about that. Although, anything's possible at this point. But Russia is making huge strides. They just captured another village in eastern Ukraine. This puts the strategic town of Pokrovsk within 4 miles. I talked about this before. They've gotten everything from Donetsk all the way down to that whole region, all those oblasts. They've taken over the whole eastern flank, and they were working their way. You can see here, Donetsk, all this darker shaded region that they've came up into. Zaporizhia, This is where that nuclear plant sits right there. And this Kharkov is going to be key. Up here, Kherson was key down here. If they were to spring out from any further, if they take this Nikolaev, Odessa is right there on the coast, and they definitely if they take this, they're definitely going to spread down. They're not stopping. They're like spreading. Russia is just pounding them, and pounding them. Look at all the footage. It's just crazy. I mean, Russia takes their own losses, don't get me wrong. There's crazy footage of their soldiers getting blown up out there and all this and that, but Ukraine is getting mauled at a rate 3 times worse than Russia. So here's one. I should probably do a video on this and do some updates on this, because we're getting hacked and targeted, our infrastructure big time, by China. They are now targeting our shipping infrastructure. That's right. The cranes at U.S. ports. This is nuts. So they're targeting all these things. The cranes at U.S. ports. Some of these things I don't think people realize. Yeah, World War III, II, it's already begun. It's begun in slow motion. When you look back at it, I believe it's already begun. We're there. Thank you, Kev Barr, for those coffees and the support, brother. And they've targeted America's largest regulated water and wastewater utility firm. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is all China, and they know it, or at least that's who they're blaming it on for the books. Yeah, it did start back with Obama. You got that right, Big Mike. And they ain't gone away. You know, they're in the basement calling shots right now. So, this is nuts, though, that they have hacked into all these things. Huge heads up, man, on that stuff. An update on everything going down with the border. This Trinidad Iraqua. Apparently, they arrested a bunch in Dallas after a violent attack targeting a woman trying to go after her jewelry. And what they're saying was a $75,000 jewelry heist. So they've been getting brazen. They took down 4 of them there. But in a separate event, they say a combined city, state, federal raid on a San Antonio apartment complex said to be under the control of Trinidad Iraqua yielded 20 arrests and detentions on Saturday. Confirmed members of the gang. So this is a pre-dawn raid, a joint operation carried out by more than 150 officers. They weren't messing around. They went deep. Dude. So that's how they're going to have to. You can see how they're coming. Imagine this is them rolling in on you. They're trying to roll in on you. They're going to come 150 deep. So you're going to need, like, at least just as many sharpshooters to counter. If they're going to come and try to Waco you or get you for whatever reason, because you're still breathing. These guys obviously causing chaos, but it's the same federale alphabet gangs that be sick on everyday people. Let's not get it twisted. Well, let's track this back to Haitian, to the Haitian roots here. Let's go to Haiti. Why are all these Haitians coming here? To begin with, we know Venezuela's in tatters. We know that it's been for years. Well, do you realize that Haiti's the same way? That it's so bad that civilians being targeted constantly. You can see here the gang slaughter 70 people, including women and infants. This is crazy. It's the massacre. So it's so bad there legitimately that people are trying to flee this area. But, you know, just count us out. We're inundated. Like, we're flooded here with way too many migrants. You're going to have to go somewhere else. But that's not how it works. So that you know what some of these people are leaving and running away from. It is legit chaos in that country, but it doesn't give them a reason to come here and start eating our cats and dogs. It pisses me off. It's like, you gotta assimilate. It's got to be one of the rules on the checklist before you even enter this country. And the boxes ahead of that is, you're not a pedo, you're not a murderer, you're not convicted of any of all this crap, because you're not getting in if you are. It's pretty simple, it sounds, but no, your treasonous government, Biden regime, is allowing this to happen. It's the truth. They are allowing an invasion of criminals to take place. They're letting murderers in, and then they come in and they murder, and then they murder, and they let them out on bail. It is the craziest, most insane, sickest crap I've ever seen in my lifetime. But they've brought the enemy to us. They're here. And as I said before, what would World War III look like? Well, it's already begun. It's already begun. We're invaded. People don't even realize it. It's like the Trojan horse. They've done such a good job of painting what they want you to think World War III is, but in reality, all the aspects are there. The dollar's being dumped. The economy's being trashed. Let's see what happens, man, with this election. Because it can really be the thing that sends it all down big time. Big time, big time. Right? I will end this evening with some information here on the P. Diddy scandals and everything going down with that. It looks like they're about to name some names, and I expect this to continue. I expect big names to drop, but we've already told you some of them. And I expect this to go way deeper than just this. I expect other cases to open up on P. Diddy. One of them is on the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. Because I believe that once you crack one open, you find it leads to the other. And it all tracks back to him, ultimately, and Suge Knight, and feds. But the feds are never, ever going to throw one of their own men out there. So this is where all these Hollywood stars and all these famous people get thrown under the bus and get taken out. When you get that close to figuring out that the man orchestrated all this. Sure did. And before they ever let the masses realize that, release the JFK files, or ever release the truth, they'll feed you their patsies, or they'll take one of these guys down. It's what they were there for. It's what the whole ordeal and storyline that was pushed with this $1 million check with Puffy was all about. Was so when this day comes, they could pin it on him, if need be. And I don't see how they don't. I don't see how they leave this box unchecked. If you're putting him away for life at this point, over all this other stuff, you might as well hit him for the murders. It's just how I see it. Well, the Tupac Shakur estate and family is lawyered up. Sometimes I feel like they're listening to the show. And they're going after him for this exact reasons. And his connections in all this, into the murders of Tupac Shakur. So when murders finally start to get thrown out there, it's game changing. It's not talking about the sex and orgies. You're talking about murders now. And that's totally different. Those charges can carry death and the death penalty with them. Okay, so I'm telling you, this man set up Biggie to get killed. We all know it's open knowledge that he cut $1 million check to Von Zip. And the whole he openly admitting it, and it's all on film. It's all out there at this point. It's all out there that he was the main hand that orchestrated the street gangs to put this in motion. And I'm telling you, this is all for the Baphomet. Tupac and Biggie were both sacrificed to the beast, to the Baphomet. Both of them. Both of them did it. I believe Suge Knight was in on it with Tupac. I don't buy the crap that they were trying to kill both of them. I just don't. I don't. I followed this all my life. I was 16 when Tupac died, when his album came out, Don Illuminati. I read it. I was like, what does that mean? And I figured out it means to kill the Illuminati. And boy, did a light bulb go off in the head of Dabu 7 on that day. So thank you, Tupac. You woke me up. You sparked it. Sure did. You did. You planted that seed, and I found it. And it made me go looking. And when I found out what that meant, he threw it at that this Illuminati needs killed. And then I started digging. Then I found what the Illuminati was, and it was the birth of Dabu 7. Really, that's how it all began, with these deaths. And they pushed Tupac like he faked his death hard. You know he was in on all the stuff. Saying he paid for all the stuff, he disappeared, and all this other stuff, garbage. They shot and killed him. They cremated him quick on Friday the 13th. He was a sacrifice. His dad knows it, mom knew it, all the good guys around him knew it, all the bodyguards, they're all dead. All of them are dead. All of them. Gaddafi, Big Frank, his other bodyguard, all of them, they're like dead, man. It's how they operate, and they just knock them all off. And they're going to say they blame the whole thing on a fabricated West Coast, East Coast beef, which was never the case. I have you know that right before Tupac got killed, he dumped his lawyer, he dumped Right Way Security and Reggie Wright, who was caught on a two-way walkie that night saying, being overheard saying, got him, right after the shooting. He was in on it. They orchestrated the whole thing against Tupac, and the feds overseen it. Do you understand that? That is what happened. And no one else got the balls to tell you the truth. That's it. That's who did it. Go listen to Tupac's biological father in his interviews in Vlad. What he says. He stops, keeps rolling his eyes and head back and forth. It's crazy how much Tupac looks like him. And he says, ask the feds. The feds were actively following my son every night, every move. And they were following him the night in Vegas. And they were filming it. So they've got all the footage. They know everything. They sure do. They sure do. They sure do. Just like the Biggie whole thing. They know it all. It's a setup, man. These same guys killed Biggie, Pac. They killed JFK. They killed John Lennon. They killed every single warrior that has ever came and tried to step up against the beast. Whether they were in the club, a part of the club, fighting against it, just waking up to it, it doesn't matter. A part of the bloodline, Camelot, like JFK, he never had to say nothing. He never have to do nothing. He just had to keep on playing the game, live the Camelot life. And live a peachy life, but he didn't. That's a warrior. And that's why he's so iconic to most of us out there. And it's why they killed him. Okay? But you can't let a fake come along, a false one, that makes you think he hates the CIA and all these other things and fool the masses. Or has that already happened? I would call that witchcraft at the highest degree. They're out there screaming their MAGA. Look, man, this whole thing is ran by the beast. It's one big club, like Harlan said, and you ain't in it. We ain't in it. And I would never want to be. I fight against this beast gladly to the end, and I salute all of you that do the same. All the demons along the way. Call them out. We cast them out. In the name of Yeshua, the Most High. And man, all right, 11:05. Time flies. Time flies. That brings me to the end of another show. Final thoughts. Give some shout outs to the chat here, some final thoughts. And well, first off, thank you for joining me for another stream. Thank everyone out there that donates and supports the stream, shares the stream, sends prayers, all that stuff. Appreciate it more than you know. And I gotta say that I feel that anytime, I mean, we're just in every day, everything's open to something crazy. Like tomorrow, Israel could bomb Damascus and level it. And like, I'm waiting. I mean, anytime something truly biblical in magnitude is going to spark. In Damascus getting leveled is just one you can't ignore. It's insane. I've eyeballed it my whole life, like I've known that I was going to live through it. Like I've known in the day that I could sit there and I could say, I could open it up and look at that passage and read it and know I'm looking at my screen and I'm seeing Damascus leveled with my own eyes, that I'm living out of a passage out of the Bible. I'm living in prophecy. They can happen at any moment. And it's a prophecy that is yet to happen. And boy, we're right there. And you know it. So man, he comes like a thief in the night. Don't forget that. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. I love all you guys. Cannon's checking in, man. Much love, my brother. Thank you for everything. I love y'all. Much love, everybody, all the crew. Dude, I see you creeping. Johnny Boy. Guitar, Buffalo Soldier. Hoodie Rouse. Natural Immunity. Pray for Peace. Gabe. James, Deanne. Tacos. Ava. Andy. Steve. E. Fitz. My boy Panther, Granite, Joe Aggie, Susie Q, Pixie Doo, Eon, coming through with the 7 coffees. You're legendary, brother. You're legendary. Brian Price. That hurts my heart. Rest in peace. Yeah, I had a really good friend named Brian Price. Lost him. Rest in peace. Kart Racer, Annie, Carolina, Maine. Thank you, Lunar. I love all y'all again. Stay safe out there.